Welcome to Quick Rip. Big B here with you. Hope you're doing well out there, fight fans. Hey, we had some BKFC action going down Friday, February 16th. Coming at us as the squared circle hit Manassas, Virginia. Okay, let's all be adults here. We'll just call it BKFC Virginia. In all seriousness, it was a great card. We had a couple of things right off the bat here that I want to touch on. Was the first one is ring size, and that's actually the main one. Ring size was much smaller here in Virginia, as they went down to a 16-foot fighting area rather than their usual 22. So that's quite a difference. It was noticeable visually, and I'm sure it was noticeable for the fighters. I liked it in that smaller, intimate setting. That's fucking awesome to have now have a smaller fighting surface. I hope they bring that into play for more of the prospect series anyway here. So that's what we had here in it's pronounced Manassas, Virginia. It was a prospect series, and it was fucking great. It was a great show. I want to kick things off. I'm going to go through, we had 10 fights on the card, and I want to go through each and every one of them because I was able to sit down and pay attention and watch them all, which was even better. So we'll take you through all 10. I'm going to start with the main event as I usually do, and then work my way down the card. So main event, BKFC Virginia, we saw Stanislav Grosu versus Brandon Shavers. And damn, what a fight this was. I absolutely loved this fight. Grosu turned it up in the second. Shavers came back in the third. An all-out war. You know, I really wish I could show you guys, video highlights of this fight without being shut down for copyright. I'm hoping one day I can get BKFC's permission to show some highlights during my quick rips here. But in order to do that, I need help from you guys out there. Need you to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, grow the channel, grow the videos, and maybe they'll take us into consideration here. For now, words can't describe that second round especially. That was just incredible. Like I said, just an all-out fucking war. Now, Shavers basically he appeared to get better throughout the fight as it went on. And he ends up getting the fourth round knockout. Two absolute warriors. It was an incredible scrap. I can't say enough good things about this fight. There's no doubt in my mind that they're both getting bonuses or contracts or whatever the case, maybe even fucking both here. And one last thing on this fight here, Brandon Shavers, well, he now moves to 2-0 with BKFC. And you know what? His left hand is absolute money. The co-main at BKFC Virginia, we had a middleweight scrap. It was Mika Terrell versus Cameron Van Camp. And this was another one where it was just like, wow. You know what? Two combat vets going at it here. And it was fucking awesome. It really was. You know what? In the end, Cameron Van Camp, he's looking fucking good because he gets a second round KO here. It was a great showing for both men. Both looked really good. I mean, they really did. Terrell, though, one thing I noticed that is not going to fly in bare knuckle is he's got to work on tucking that chin and hiding that chin a bit because he did seem to have it quite high the entire fight. Other than that, congratulations to Cameron Van Camp because that was another incredible showing from him. Feature fight at BKFC Virginia, we had a heavyweight scrap between Zach Kalmus and Josh Freeman. This one was a different kind of scrap. Not super exciting, but there was a lot of clinch work, a lot of body shots in those clinches being thrown by both men. Uh, I'm not going to go on about this fight. It just wasn't my cup of tea. In the end, Kalmus gets the win via doctor stoppage, as Freeman actually couldn't continue after the third due to a hand injury. We saw another heavyweight scrap here as Murat Kilmatov versus Trey Cook. And I apologize if I do butcher anybody's name. It's not my intention, but doing my best. Now, in this one, Cook was simply just outclassed. Three knockdowns in the first by Murat, and then he ends up blowing Trey Cook's head off basically with a right hand. It was just brutal power from Murat, and it's what you would expect to see from a heavyweight. We're also treated to a featherweight scrap as we saw James Brown versus Bovar Kanikov. This one was a great scrap. Another fucking fantastic fight here. Good matchmaking and good prospects coming up here for the BKFC. What do we have here in this featherweight scrap? Well, realistically, Brown pieced Bovar up in the first. Then Bovar drops Brown with a hard left in the second. Bovar's face ended up being just a brutal, absolute fucking mess after the third round. Doctors ended up stopping it. So TKO for James Brown. He's now 3-0 with BKFC. And this was another one where it's props to both men because Bovar didn't want to quit. He still wanted to fucking scrap, but he was just way too cut up. His face was hamburger. So I have no problems with the doctor's stoppage on that one. Another great scrap there in Virginia. We saw another heavyweight scrap there in Manassas as Joseph Ray took on Paul Show. You know what? This one was fucking damn near. Well, we had two heavyweights who went toe-to-toe for nearly the entire first round. Nearly 2 minutes of heavyweight toe-to-toe action. Absolutely nothing to boo about here. It was intense, especially for heavyweights. You don't really see that much output from both men. I mean, it was just fucking. It was refreshing. Ray ends up getting the second round KO though, with Show ending up outside of the ring. I'm sorry, I can't help but giggle about that one. It was just it's not something you see very often, especially in bare knuckle. So obviously, Show was done. Huge heart shown by Paul though. I mean, he got dropped a few times there before he ended up outside the rings, and he kept getting up, and he didn't want to quit. He was in pain, but he got up quite a few times before he just couldn't get up anymore. We also saw Sean Brooks take on Jordan Christensen in a middleweight scrap. This one was a fairly slow start as Brooks was heavily looking to counter. I mean, the Boo Birds were out there in Manassas, and in a second though, Brooks absolutely turned it up. Brooks showed he was, I guess he was done with just trying to counter. Change of game plan basically is what it was. The countering just wasn't working. It wasn't working for him. It wasn't working for the crowd, and I'm sure it certainly wasn't working for David Feldman. But he did turn it up in the second. In the third, he gets the knockout as he absolutely destroyed the eye of Christensen. Nasty, nasty shit there. We also treated to a female flyweight scrap here as Crystal Vanvik was taking on Christina Christ, and there's crazy output from Crystal Vanvik right off the bat. I mean, just pedal to the metal right off the fucking bat. It was absolutely insane. Christ is as tough as they come, though. She was realistically, she was outsized, she was outstruck, but not an ounce of quit in her. It was a great 5 round fight here as Crystal Vanvik ends up getting the unanimous decision. What would have ended up being the second fight of the night was a featherweight bout between Dustin Garrett and Nathan Rivera. Rivera absolutely murked Garrett here in the first. Nathan looks like he'll be an amazing addition to the BKFC roster. Trust me, folks, remember the name Nathan Rivera because he's coming, and there's no doubt there's a wealth of talent there. As long as he can stay on the right track, he can keep murking people all the way to that title. And opening up the card in Virginia, we had a bantamweight bout. Kerry Caprio versus Mike Livingston. It was a crazy start in Manassas, I'm going to be honest. This scrap opened with fireworks, both busy in the clinch. Livingston appeared gassed in the second, but never once went down. The doctors ended up stopping it before the beginning of the third. Now, Livingston did have a knot on his head, but it didn't appear to impede his vision. It didn't appear to really even be bothering him. I'm really unsure why it was stopped, other than maybe he was just completely gassed and the doctors figured he was just going to take a beating. I'm not sure. I would have loved a more detailed explanation on that one, but in the end, I guess it doesn't really matter. The bout was stopped, and Kerry Caprio gets the TKO victory. And there you have it. That was BKFC Virginia, BKFC Manassas Prospect Series card. It was good stuff. Like I said, I really enjoyed the smaller ring size, and damn near every one of the fighters came out and just gave it their all. And no complaints at all. It was nice. Up next, we have, I believe it's March 2nd, BKFC's coming up north here to Canada, my home country. Not my province, unfortunately. A few provinces over, a little too far away for me to make it at this point in my life, but hopefully this opens the door more in Canada, and it's just good. It's just good to see the growth. History will be made on March 2nd. And a quick note about that: the main event has been canceled for that event. Actually, who was it? Devin Gibson, I believe, was his name. Canadian guy was supposed to headline. Apparently had to pull out due to unknown reasons to me. I know he pulled out, so now Jade Mason Wong versus Gabrielle Roman has been bumped up to the main event, which is going to be absolute fireworks regardless. Unfortunately, we lost that main event, but we gained a main event that's just as good. We got a Canadian girl fighting, and it's two warriors, so it's going to be good stuff once the squared circle touches down in Canada. And like I say, history will be made. Anyway, I'm done rambling here, and just want to thank you for tuning in here to Quick Grip on the Bulls Beers Brawls channel. Till next time, everybody, take care and peace. I think the trip that fumbled over the train. I ride and wonder how we had all these things. I remember the times